What?
We're ready.
Oh, well, heck, fantastic. Let's do that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now joined on the line by our guest of Mystery Science Theater and currently RiffTrax, Bill Corbett. How's it going?
One moment.
Oh, or maybe we're not.
Vamp. Vamp. Look at Servo. Look at little Servo. That's cool. That's fine. Oh, there he is.
Hello.
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 I am a head floating in the darkness.
Whoa! Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
One more, and we have the whole set. Last year we had Kevin phone in.
I phoned in last year too.
Oh, did you? Well, I wasn't around for that.
It was not very memorable.
Well, I was. It's
Apparently.
every time we do one of these events, every single year, we meet afterwards, and we're like, "Oh, do you remember when this thing happened?" And every time, no matter what anyone says, everyone else in the room goes, "No, when did that happen?" Everything blends together.
Hey, Bill, very exciting.
You guys are in a mass fugue state right now, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Someday I will awaken again.
We've just this second hit $90,000.
Wow!
Nice!
So I just told Shanny to throw that code into the chat momentarily, so watch for it.
And we need your help on something with
Yes,
regard
we do.
to another giveaway that we're doing.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
So we have this amazing handmade Tom Servo figure that someone made for us, and we're doing this. You wanted to do this, sorry, Taylor, as a donation
Drive, that's right.
Okay, so we want to do it as a donation drive, and we were wondering if you, as the resident representative of Mystery Science Theater, could suggest an amount for the donation drive, which will be, if someone donates that amount, they are entered into a random draw to win it. Something perhaps.
Give me a range. What would you start at?
Well, I think our baseline for these is $5.
Yeah, it's usually in the 5 to 10 kind of range, and it's usually a
5
sort
to
of
15,
really
I would say.
randomized number so that we can be sure people are donating specifically for that.
Like you can do a dollar and amount of cents if there's something that's relevant to
Avoid using your home address. We don't recommend that.
Yeah.
I would say $15.27.
All right.
All right.
Going high on this one. I like it.
1527. So during your call-in, we're going to give people the chance to donate that amount or an increment of it to win this doll. And after your call-in, we will do a draw to see who the winner is.
Sweet.
He's adorable.
Isn't he?
He's the cutest. The cutest Servo.
He looks like baby Servo.
Yes.
So we'd asked people to post a variety of questions for you on our blog post about your call-in. So I'm going to read you some of them now.
Sounds good.
So the first question, so the first question is, what is your favorite movie from your time at Mystery Science Theater? Now we get asked this about our videos. You're like, oh, what's your favorite sketch or whatever. This is always really difficult to answer, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and I have to be honest, it shifts depending on when I am asked. I am not entirely consistent on it from year to year or month to month, but I'd say right now, I would say my favorite is Space Mutiny.
Oh yes.
It was just so absurd, and it provided us the man of many names, David Ryder, Blast Hard Cheese, Slab Fist Crunch, etc.
Plank Hard Cheese, I think.
Yes.
Punch Rock Groin.
And my favorite steaks. I think that's hot top.
That's actually the most recent episode I've watched, as it happens.
I also like it because it has the woman who just got killed sort of back at the office in 5 minutes. Hey guys, I cannot hear you anymore.
Oh no! What happened? Is it because of the
Okay.
Sometimes Skype does that with the echo cancellation.
Sometimes Skype mutes one half of the call for echo cancellation.
Yeah.
So it's if we talk over one another, then it's a whole.
Guys.
On average, how many times do you have to re-watch a single movie in the process of doing a RiffTrax for it?
I'd say it gets to be around a dozen, all is said and done. The way we write now, we each take a chunk. So there's one part of it that I see a lot. And then a couple of other, like one 1/4 to 1/5 of it that I do the first draft of, that I am intimately and horrifyingly close with. But then the other, it's a little less intense with the rest of the movie. But yeah, there's one part of the movie that I get to know, really, really, really well.
Is there a reason why you are doing less of the sort of blockbusters and more sort of older, crappier movies on RiffTrax these days?
Yeah, we were kind of running out of the blockbusters, frankly. I mean, we were going to the bench in terms of what we were, like to keep updated on that. Like every week or 2 or 3, you had to do some movies that people were not that interested in, frankly.
Right.
And really, people are mostly interested in the big, like tentpole movies, like Avengers or something like that, or stuff that they have in their collection already, like all of the Star Wars.
Right.
But when we get into like Drag Me to Hell, nobody buys it. We work diligently and make jokes for it, and then like not a lot of people order it. So, and then we also found that if we do those video on demand old movies, there's still plenty of them out there, so we can pepper them through the year and then make the blockbuster movies more of an event.
Well, a personal request from me, because it's a movie that so there's a movie that I legitimately love a lot, but is one of my favorite RiffTrax, which I realize is a little awkward because it's actually one with just Mike and Kevin on it. But it's the one for Casino Royale. I'm sorry?
I said it can't be that good then. I'm sorry.
It was the one for Casino Royale.
Oh yeah.
And it's really good, and I was really hoping that you guys would do Quantum of Solace, especially since it was not that great. So I don't know. Consider that a request.
It's entirely possible we would skip Quantum of Solace and move right on to the latest one. Thank you.
That would be
Skyfall.
sweet.
I was trying to bring up the Adele song.
Have you ever encountered a movie during RiffTrax or MST3K that was so dull it was difficult to make fun of?
Oh yeah. There were a lot of those, and usually we screened them out and didn't bother trying. I mean, we even have ones that we did do that skirt pretty close to the edge on that. But if it's just like minutes go by and everyone is falling asleep, it's probably a sign that even we can't help it.
We've got to thank you for making the room watchable.
Oh my God!
Especially those interminable sex scenes.
Oh my God!
That's how I was introduced to
Yeah.
the program. You guys showed it to me.
It's amazing because the first one of those, when there's all like the weird disembodio stuff going on, it's like this is really stupid. I don't know about whatever. And then when there's the second sex scene and disembodio bursts back into the room, everyone's like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
Thank you for sparing us Tommy Wiseau's bare bottom. Yeah, that was an act of sadism on his part to show us his gnarled naked body like that. So.
It's weird because it looks like he's in good shape under a layer of gristle.
Yeah. Very well put. Although I have to say, with The Room, that's one movie that when people ask, is it worth it? I say you should really see it in its pristine form first, like without our stuff, because it has to be seen to be believed. I actually think it's hilarious even without our commentary. But once you've seen it and have recovered, it's probably good to see it with the RiffTrax.
What's your favorite thing about the greater creative freedom that has come with RiffTrax over MST3K?
The greater creative freedom is the schedule is our own. We're not beholden to Comedy Central or the Sci-Fi Channel's schedule, or their slight butting in. Although I have to say it was never as bad as I've heard it gets with other shows. But every now and then we would get like a passel of notes, and I'm just like, really? We've been doing this a long time now, guys. It's kind of weird that you're giving us joke notes at this point. So we're absolutely spared that in RiffTrax because it's just us, and we're, for better or worse, we can do what we want.
Because especially in the later years on Sci-Fi, they were pushing much more for the sort of expansive host segments, right? For like plot purposes.
They were, yeah.
The next question actually happens to be, if given the opportunity to do MST3K again, do you think you guys would go for it, or does RiffTrax just offer you just the better options?
RiffTrax offers me enough riffing for now, and then some. We have a pretty heavy writing schedule. We're asked a lot about bringing back MST3K, and I don't really know what to say about that. It would have to be pretty ideal conditions, I think, and I don't see them forming. There's been a couple of attempts at it over the years, and besides there being too many of us, we're kind of older and longer in the tooth. It might wind up looking worse than everybody hoped. Like, Return to Gilligan's Island or the Brady Bunch Goes Hawaii or something.
It's amazing though. Whenever you sort of talk about Mystery Science Theater with other people who remember it, when you tell them that it was on Comedy Central, and they're like, "Really?" And it's like, "Yeah, it was on Comedy Central. It's like a 2-hour TV show."
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it really hit that golden time in cable history when Comedy Central just kind of started, and they really needed programming. So a 2-hour block of comedy seemed pretty good to them. A 2-hour block of comedy that didn't involve like guys in front of a brick wall at an improv club, going, "Hey, let's look at the news today," or just that cornball stand-up thing.
Dear Dr. Bill, will there ever be a RiffTrax for Apocalypse Now?
The horror. I tend to doubt it, I have to say, but weirder things have happened.
Considering you guys did Jaws and Casablanca.
Yeah. The thing that would not prevent it is that it's a good movie. As we've tried to make clear in our little stunt with Casablanca, we're not averse to doing movies that we kind of like and think are pretty good movies. I mean, we're not saying when we riff something that it's a really terrible movie, because a lot of them are just mixtures of good and bad. Some of them are legit terrible, like Transformers. I will never be able to love that. But yeah, I mean, when we do something like Casablanca or Jaws, it's more like we're roasting the movie, and we're not trying to score hits off of it.
Do you think it's easier? Is it easier to do a better movie like Jaws or Casablanca, or is it harder?
It's just a different gear, and I like being able to change it up a little bit. It was kind of a relief to just be spared the usual, like, well, should we point out how terrible that moment is or make another joke? And in Casablanca, you don't really get that opportunity because it's a really good movie and it weathers the ages well. And you know what? It'll outlast us, and it is in no danger from our little jibes at it.
Well, it's a friend of mine and I who love watching the RiffTrax. We were like, you know what? Sure, let's try it. I don't know what they can do with Casablanca, but it was really, really funny. And when we're doing our show Unskippable, which is it's the same sort of thing but for video games, we've always said that Mystery Science Theater was the biggest inspiration for it.
Are you an Unskippable guy?
Yeah, that's myself and
I
Paul.
love that.
Oh, thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you so much. But when we do a game that's good, then people in the comment section are like, "How dare you? This is an excellent game." And we're like, "Yeah, we know it. I play it, but you can still make fun of it."
Welcome to our world, brother.
Yeah. There's a question here on the blog. I'm having a really hard time syncing my RiffTrax while drinking. Do you have any advice?
I've had that problem.
I think you have not drank enough. You have to get to that next level where it all seems easy.
What's the coolest thing a fan has ever given you?
Probably a full Tom Baker Doctor Who scarf. Just knitted personally and sent to me, and it's like, wow, I didn't ask for this, but it's awesome. And it was even longer than the Tom Baker. It was like 20 feet long, I swear.
We actually have one of those to auction off later, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Ooh,
Yes, we do.
very nice. Let me see if I can see any in the chat here while we wait for the toilet to
I just
fill up.
want to say that the Twilight series you guys did with the RiffTrax
so
was. I was trying to just have something on when I was doing homework or something, and I was collapsing from laughter.
Oh, thank you.
And I actually could not work on my stuff. So
I consider the Twilight series a dark gift to us. Personally.
But what made that so much better was that my sister's a huge Twilight fan, like an actual Twilight fan. So I gave her that, and I don't know if she actually watched it, but I'm hoping she did.
I have to say, it sort of got its revenge on us by being, what was it, 5 or 6 movies? And by that last one, we were kind of dying.
Just desperately holding out for any scene with Mustache Dad.
Exactly. My favorite.
The best character in that whole series.
He's great.
There's a couple
I'm Servo.
of people asking, what was it like working on Tesla Effect?
I don't know what they're talking about.
That's sort of what I thought as well. I'm not quite sure. There's been several people asking about that, so maybe they're confusing you with a different bill?
Tesla Effect is the new...
Could be.
The what?
It's the new Tex Murphy game.
It's the new Tex Murphy game.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's Kevin.
Someone got it
Kevin
wrong.
did a voice for it.
Yeah. Do you own any ukuleles?
I do not.
Okay. Do you own a Crow T robot prop?
No, I don't own an actual puppet, but I have. Hold on a second. I have this guy.
Oh, nice.
This was from the Gumby short that we did on one season.
Okay. Here's a question. I don't know how much you can necessarily get into this, but they're asking about sort of how much you guys see off of the ticket pricing for streaming in theaters, because they love what you do and they want to see you get as much as possible, and they're saying that it costs just as much for them to buy the riff for you guys. Like, how would you prefer people enjoy your entertainment?
Any way they want to.
Right.
I guess I'm not quite sure what the question is.
Well, it's okay. I'll just.
I am a simple man.
The question reads as, I enjoy the live shows, but how much do you get off the ticket pricing for streaming theaters? It is cool seeing it on the big screen, but it costs me just as much to buy the riff from you guys rather than only see it once.
You know what? We are happy if you want to do one way or the other. We do well no matter what. So thank you. Take your choice.
All right.
We're happy.
Can we do a quick update on what this challenge is that we're doing right now?
Yeah, so the current giveaway challenge for 1527, as determined by Bill, is for this.
Look at that awesome dude.
Is for this lovely handmade Tom Servo little figure. He's so cute. So if you donate 1527 or multiples thereof
Before the end of the call?
before the end of our call with Bill, you will be entered in a draw to win it one or multiple times, depending on
The increment of your bid.
the increment of your donation.
FYI, the timer in the bottom corner of our feed is a lie.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah, that's
Till the end of the call.
It looks like that Servo has more arm range than the original.
Yeah.
He can actually touch hands with himself.
Just barely. Just barely.
Do you have any amusing stories about operating the puppet? It was a question. It was a question from the chat.
His eyes would fall out a lot. There are a lot of outtakes of just being in the middle of a scene and all of a sudden, just there go the eyes again. I guess the only other amusing story is that I was not given a lot of time to learn how to use the puppet, which was fine. I was glad for the job, but I basically went home one weekend and they said, "Here, take Crow, learn how to use it, be ready to be on camera Monday."
Wow.
And my dog, I basically went to the kitchen counter and did voices and acted like an insane person. and my dog was scared shitless of Crow.
What? How? Like, what sort of position were you in for the, like, were you having to sit in a super uncomfortable way for like 2 hours while you were operating it in the theater bits? Because you had to like hold the puppet up. Wouldn't your arm get tired?
Well, for the theater bits, we were actually in these car seats that, you know, were just on the floor. So it was pretty comfortable, actually. And Crow was on a stand for that. So I would just sort of march him across, put him on a stand.
And then sort of operate the mouth?
During the host segments, we were in these little trenches, actually. So it was pretty well thought out for maximum comfort.
Oh, that's good. Because occasionally they make me do puppet things here, and my arm gets tired after doing one round of the Rainbow Connection. So.
That sounds like a really evil puppet.
So there's a question in the chat that I think is kind of interesting, which is asking. So it's asking you, Mike or Joel, which I don't think is a fair question for a couple reasons. One, just for the obvious reason that it's just not a fair thing to ask someone who actually worked on the show. Two, you were only on the show with Mike, isn't that right?
Yeah, I mean, Joel came back for one episode. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, they're asking me, do I prefer Mike or Joel?
Yeah, which I don't think is.
I worked with Mike, so definitely Joel.
Excellent.
Yeah, I did. I loved him.
Was the how many copies of the robots existed? Because it seemed like there were a lot of variations for random bits, says someone.
There were surprisingly few, actually. There was Dark Crow, Timmy, the Devil Crow. Beyond that, I think when I was there were only really 2 operating puppets. And when I traveled and took Crow with me, first of all, I would get stopped at security. And, you know, they thought I had a pipe bomb in there or something. Until they said, no, it's a puppet. Here's the eyes that fall out a lot.
Because
but people were surprised that we didn't have like a full traveling Crow, but no, it's just the guy from the show.
Because the one that was in the theater was actually like painted black or something?
Yes, yeah.
And then that was the one you used, the Dark Crow, you just used that one?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So since you called in last year, you'll remember the last year we were doing $6 secrets, where we were getting a secret from everybody. This year we're doing $7 superheroes, which is that we are soliciting people to come up with an idea for not necessarily a superhero that you would be, but a hero, just a superhero with power that you are creating that you think would be an entertaining superhero.
Wow, this is fun. I just did a convention in Portland, Maine with Ethan Nicole of Axe Cop.
Oh wow!
So I've been watching a lot of Axe Cop, and you know I hosted his panel. So I'm very in the Axe Cop mindset right now. So I'd say Tambourine Man, Mr. Tambourine Man.
Mr. Tambourine.
What's his father?
And what is Mr. Tambourine Man's power?
I'd say that it would be like Flute Cop in the Axe Cop series. He just plays a beautiful little tune and can sort of transcend time and space.
So he's a man with a tambourine and can transcend time and space.
I would go so far as to say he is a tambourine.
Man who is a tambourine.
And I will leave it to Ethan Nicole to draw that.
Comma, can transcend time and space.
It's just that little thing.
No big deal, yeah.
I think he can petrify and shatter dinosaurs too.
Oh,
if you need something a little more aggressive.
I'll make sure to write that one down.
Please do.
Yeah, it's good to have an attack power.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Not just some like philosophical power.
Well, thank you so much for calling in again, Bill. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
All right.
And we'll let you know what the donation drive ended up going for during your call.
Please do. Somebody buy that Servo. He needs a home. Look at him.
Yeah, we'll get people.
You guys should play the Sarah McLachlan song over.
Is that a challenge? Are we doing that now?
All right, see you guys. Thanks.
Bye, Will. Thank you. We'll give you guys until 6:25. That's another minute or so to get
One more
those
minute.
last donations in.
$15.27.
Yep.
Mr. Tambourine.
Mr. Tambourine Man who is a tambourine, comma, can transcend time and space, can petrify and shatter dinosaurs.
Of course, but only dinosaurs.
Only dinosaurs?
How does that work with Dinosaur Cop?
That's a good question.
Mortal enemy.
Maybe
Yeah.
Flush
No
count
worries.
180.
You were the tambourines.